The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Franklin County, Idaho, on your new Pierce Fire apparatus, job number 37772. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. Let's get started on a brief orientation. Starting just under the front bumper in the center is where you'll find your receiver hitch. Located in the same vicinity, you'll find 12-volt access for your electric winch. On the face of the front bumper, you'll find your electronic siren and PA speaker, dual air horns, and also your mechanical siren. There are also 2 forward-facing attachment points. These are not intended for towing. Moving up onto the bumper extension, you'll find a swivel discharge along with a D-handle gains you access into your front bumper load hose storage location. On the outer edge of the front of the cab is where you'll find your marker turn indicator light. Just inside that location, you'll find your headlight structure housing low and high beam headlights. High beam will be located on the inside. Directly above that is your emergency warning lights forward facing. There are 3 windshield wipers across the seamless one-piece windshield. As we move over to the A-pillar, you'll find a flat and convex mirror. Moving up to the brow of the apparatus, you'll find your identification clearance lights. Also located in the center is where you'll find your forward-facing floodlight. As we move up onto the roof, this is where you'll find your light bar, and also located within the center of the light bar, your Opticom. Let's go ahead and take a look at some images here of the front bumper extension. First, starting with the side view, where you'll find a side-facing emergency warning light on the side of the front bumper, swivel discharge, foam capable, and then as we look inside the storage location, you'll find dry deck material in the center. Let's go ahead and take a look at the full apparatus from the driver's side, and then we'll identify a few items within the cab area. Let's first start down at the wheel area, where you'll find Alcoa wheel and Goodyear tire, visual sight gauge into the center axle. Moving to that front bumper extension, side-facing emergency warning light. Just above that on the A-pillar is where you'll find the marker turn indicator light. There are 2 handles located here. They are easily accessible with a gloved hand. These are your main door lock entry. They are also keyed. Right next to that is where you'll find the grab handle for gaining entry and exit in and out of the cab. Right next to that, just above the front axle, is where you'll find your auto eject shoreline power. Right next to that is where you'll find a side-facing emergency warning light, part of the lower zone emergency warning system. Full view here of the pump panel. We'll come back to this in just a few moments. Let's move to the body section next, where you'll find folding wheel chocks located just in front of the rear axle. As we move up, front and rear of the axle, SCBA bottle storage location. Also directly over the rear axle, lower zone emergency warning light. Also toward the rear axle is where you'll find your hitch receiver and 12-volt access. Moving up to the very top, you'll find your LED water tank level indicator, 2 side-facing scene lights, and then to the very rear, an emergency warning light side-facing. Let's move around now to the rear of the apparatus. We'll identify a few items within this area, first starting at the very bottom with your hitch receiver, and then also 12-volt access. Moving now to the outer edge, where you'll find a brake, turn, and reverse light on the outer edge. There are also emergency warning lights rear facing, part of the upper and also part of the lower zone. There are cupped switches here. We'll talk about those when we get into some details into the rear portion. These are for your scene lights and also hosebed lights. LED water tank level rear facing, located in the center area, along with tank fill and discharges. As we move just to the center, you'll find a recessed backup camera along with a traffic advisor, which is also recessed. Moving up to the very top, emergency warning lights at the very top, and then in this indication, this is the rear-facing scene light. Full view of the apparatus on the side. Let's go ahead and take a look at the rest of the truck here and the body section. Pretty much the same configuration and layout as you have on the driver's side, except for the exhaust and ladder storage rack. Moving to the front cab, same configuration and layout as we have on the driver's side. Now let's go ahead and move into the cab space. We'll identify a few items here. Before we start, let's start with the door panel, a fixed door panel, safety and warning placard information, door lock and latch combination, and then just above that you'll find your electric window control for all 4 cab windows and a grab handle. Moving just inside the cab area to the stepwell is where you'll find an air inlet. You'll also find in that air inlet area a light just above that. As we move to about the floor level onto the engine tunnel area is where you'll find this yellow placard indicating the date of manufacture, 5-digit job number, gross vehicle weight rating, and also cold tire inflation. This also houses the VIN number and all of the fluid capacities for each component, fluid capacity, and also fluid type. As we move to about the left knee of the operator, you'll find your master battery switch quarter turn. It's the silver switch. To the right, you'll find the tech module and also engine, transmission, ABS diagnostic port. As we move down, you'll find your ABS diagnostics, DPF regen, engine diagnostics, and regen inhibit switch, along with the display port. As we move to the right of the steering column, you'll find the information for instructions on operation in road to pump mode for pump, and also from pump to road. Just as a reminder, when for pump operations, you need 2 green indicators, pump engaged, and OK to pump for pumping operations. Also in this vicinity, you'll find the flat mirror and convex mirror. As we move to the dash, you'll find the ignition and start switch on the left-hand side. You'll also find a switch labeled EM, which stands for Emergency Master. This will engage and disengage all emergency warning lights. Headlight switch, and right next to it a switch labeled panel, which allows you to brighten or dim lights within the dash area. To the right, the OK to engage your high idle indicator and switch. Moving up to the dash, you'll find your transmission, oil, def level, and water temp on the left side gauges. On the right, volts, fuel, front air, and rear air. Located in the center, you'll find your tachometer and speedometer. Diagnostic information will display and tally information above and also below the tachometer and speedometer, along with a display in the center. General view here, looking to the right of the driver's seat, will focus in on some of these items. First, starting at the top, this is the Pierce command zone. Tremendous amount of information right here at your fingertips, touchscreen, and also function button. To the right, windshield wipers, and also push for windshield wiper fluid. As we move down, you'll find the engine brake setting for low, medium, and high, tire chains, and mirror heat. You'll also find the pull to apply your system parking brake and push to release. It is the yellow diamond. Allison transmission pad, digital readout, push button, and information note to pump in drive. You'll also find caution information regarding engaging your vehicle. Moving to the right, you'll find the heating and air conditioning climate control center. Moving further to the right, 12-volt access via barrel style. Moving just to the right of this location, you'll find 2 push buttons. First is the siren brake, and then also the activation for the mechanical siren. You'll find these red and white labels throughout the vehicle. They're indicating spare wiring. They do have the option number on that individual sticker. As we move overhead of the operator's position, let's start first with the yellow placard indicating the height of the vehicle, 11 feet 6 inches. The length of your vehicle is 36 feet 8 inches, and your gross vehicle weight rating, 53,800 pounds. This also contains the 5-digit job number located at the very bottom section. Moving just above this are your switches here for your emergency warning lights. Emergency master, roof, front warning, side warning, lower rear warning, upper rear warning, high beam flash, and also load manager. Moving further to the right, you'll find your scene lights for front scene, driver scene, passenger scene, your generator PTO, air horn, and mechanical siren. Moving further to the right, PA system and electronic siren. Further to the right, you'll find your Whelen traffic advisor. As we move just underneath this, you'll find your Firecom wireless base system. Also, do not move your apparatus if this light is flashing. It's indicating you have a compartment door open or ajar. Generator operating instructions placard. This is up at the roof ceiling level near the air conditioner unit. As we move to the rear of the apparatus, we have 2 forward-facing seats and then also 2 rear-facing seats. Let's look behind one of those seats here. This is the driver's seat where you'll find your air compressor and also battery charger. When plugged into Shoreline Power, both of these will become active, maintaining brake and also battery. Also behind the seat is a speaker. There is a volume control. This is for your backup camera. As we move to the exterior, once again, Goodyear tire, Alcoa wheel, and a visual sight gauge into the center axle area. Shoreline Power auto eject 20 amp with a indicator located here. When plugged into Shoreline Power, that will become active. As we move toward the rear of the apparatus, let's move into the rear cab area. Fixed door panel, safety and warning placard, door lock and latch, and electric window control along with a grab handle. At the ceiling level, your air conditioner, also push on and off red or white lens lights. These are the 2 forward-facing and rear-facing seats. These pictured here are your rear, and this is your forward-facing. Just underneath those in the very center section is where you'll find the engine cowling. To the rear of that is a lift and turn latch. This is your location for your daily checks for oil and transmission. As we move to the rear section of the seats, these are the forward-facing. You'll find at the very bottom section trigger latch, which allows you to gain access into the lower space underneath the 2 seats. Let's go ahead and move now to the exterior, where we have a through compartment along with shelving and LED lighting. We do also have, when plugged into Shoreline Power, these outlets will become active. Let's go ahead and move now to the pump panel area. We'll start at the very top section of the pump panel with a Husky 3 foam system specifications placard and also system instructions. This is your foam level tank A indicator for your foam tank. Moving to the right, this is your master pump intake, and just to the right of that is your master pump discharge. Located in between the 2 of those are the test gauge ports. They are currently plugged and they are utilized for testing purposes. Moving to the right in the blue section module, this is your water tank level indicator. As we move further down into the red module, this is the Husky foam system module for control. It has instructions for its operations on the face. You'll also find panel lights and also an indicator for OK to pump. If you engage your pump properly, this light will be illuminating, indicating pump engaged. Also to the right, you'll find a warning placard indicating fall hazard. When climbing on or off the vehicle, make sure you face the vehicle. Let's move just downward from this location. We'll start with the speed lays, speed lay number 1 and speed lay number 2. These are both 1.5 inch speed lays. Also, you'll find the 2.5 inch cross lay. These are the vertical stacks just to the left of this location. Real discharge, it is foam capable. As we move down in the order here, you'll find the 2.5 inch discharges for number 2 passenger, passenger rear, and also number 1 driver. At the very top, you'll find a speaker. The outer edge of that bezel does rotate, allowing you to increase or decrease sound level. To the right, pressure throttle governor located here, and to the right, you'll find a front discharge, which is also foam capable. Just to the right is your master stream for your deluge discharge. Moving further to the right is the engine cooler. And then moving down just next to driver number 1, discharge, is where you'll find the recirculating line. Moving further to the right, this is the driver's side 2.5 inch pre-connect. This is located at the rear of the apparatus, along with your fire pump primer, push to prime, air prime. There is an informational note, at least 1,000 RPMs for best practices while priming. Also, warning here regarding entanglement, because those lines just to the left, there is the possibility of entanglement. Minimum operation maintenance schedule, we'll go over that in some detail next. And as we move further right, you have a direct tank refill. This is going to be at the rear of the apparatus, and it is an electronic valve. Moving to the right, we have a large diameter discharge controlled via the wheel valve. It's on the passenger side. Tank fill and tank to pump located on the far right. As we move down, you'll find the pump drain, and then also the American flag eagle Pierce logo. This is your pump inlet. Moving further to the right, we're going to find a warning placard here indicating pressure hazard. Caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening those. Also, you'll find a 2.5 inch discharge. Moving further to the right, your manual pump shift. Let's go ahead and move from this location all the way down to the very bottom where you find all of our color-coded and labeled discharge drains. Back up to the top, you'll find a Watrous placard indicating the type of pump and capacity, and then also a placard here indicating warning, only trained personnel should operate this piece of equipment, and that's only after proper training. Difficult to see in the next image here, but there's a placard just above your foam draft tank lever. It's indicating do not mix different brands or consistencies of foam for the possibility of foam failure. Also the lever for draft or tank, and then fill location at the very bottom section. Color-coded and labeled discharge drains across the very bottom section. Let's go back to a few of those placards, first starting with the Watrous placard, indicating the capacity of your pump, 1,250 gallons. Minimum operation maintenance schedule for test pressures at 150, 200, and 250 psi. On this placard is indicating the associated GPM at that test pressure for GPM on the left, and the associated RPM on the right-hand side. It does have a governed speed while in pump mode of 2,130 RPMs. As we move to the side, it's where you'll find hose storage location, dry deck material on Velcro tie down. Just underneath this location is where you'll find your foam pump intake drain and foam pump discharge drain. As we move to the vertical wall surface in the first compartment to the right of the pump panel, this is where you'll find your G1, which stands for generator 1. This is your panel here for all of your individual outlets, along with a Harrison module indicating the status of your generator. There also is a Wilbert light tower control module located here. It is a tethered remote. And then also you have an additional toolboxes located on the very bottom. There are 4 sections here. As we move just in front of the rear axle, it's where you'll find the DEF fill location. It's the blue cap. To the rear of the axle, you'll find the ultra low sulfur diesel fill location. It's the silver cap. SCBA bottle storage locations. There are 2 in front and 2 to the rear with retaining straps. There are 2 tool boards located within this area. D-handle gains you access. On the hinge side is where you'll find a lock for restoring it back to its original positions. Close up here of the DEF tank, 4.5 US gallons. Moving now to the rear of the axle, close up here of your wheel, Goodyear tire, Alcoa wheel. As we move up from that location, SCBA bottle storage and fill location for ultra low sulfur diesel. Let's move now to the next compartment where you'll find adjustable shelving and pull-out trays. The release mechanism for those trays is located on the lower right-hand side for the lower and on the upper right-hand side. As we move just underneath this compartment, you'll find the hitch receiver location and then also your access for 12-volt access. All compartments now open on the driver's side. Let's move around to the rear of the apparatus where we have all compartments open. We'll identify a few items within this area. Starting at the very top, storage location. This is your 10-foot folding attic ladder. Moving down from this location, these are the cupped switches for hose bed lights and also rear scene lights. Moving now to the rear discharge. This is a 2.5. The pre-connect is located at the very top section in the bulkhead area. At the very center, you'll find an entanglement warning hazard. Also find a warning placard here regarding caps that may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. And then also the direct tank fill, electric valve, and also a 2.5-inch discharge controlled at the pump panel. To the rear, you'll find a pull-out tray on the lower portion, and in the upper portion, an additional pull-out tray. Release mechanisms are both located on the right-hand side of the drawer. Moving now to the upper right-hand side is where you'll find your pike pole storage for the 6-foot and 8-foot pike pole. Moving now around to the passenger side, we have 2 pull-out tool boards and then also adjustable shelving. Moving just under this location is where you'll find your hitch receiver and then also 12-volt access. As we move to the center, you'll find your center compartment, roll-up compartment door, and tool board. You'll also find bottle storage for SCBA bottles for up to 6 bottles with retaining straps. Same configuration and layout. We have the 2 tool boards, release mechanism on the hinge side. Back to the SCBA bottle storage for up to 3 bottles in front of and rear of the axle. Goodyear tire, Alcoa wheel. Would like to point out one thing just down from this location is the exhaust. Extremely hot diesel exhaust temperatures do exist. Please be cautious where you park your vehicle, especially during regen operations. Moving into the compartment just above this location, you'll find two pull-out tool boards, adjustable shelves, and also a pull-out tray on the bottom. In the upper portion coming through the top roof area is where you'll find your hydraulic hose and then also electrical cord reel. There are push-button rewinds located on the vertical wall surface. They are color-coded to the reel itself. Have a few close-ups of this area also just in front of the vertical partition at the very top section. As we move further down, this is where the cord rewind is for your electrical cord, 200 feet, 20 amp. Junction box located here in this compartment. As we move to the very bottom of this location, pull-out tray release located on the lower under right side. Let's move into the passenger side pump panel area first, starting with a warning placard. Once again, when climbing on or off the vehicle, always face the vehicle. Also, lift and turn latch gains you access into the pump panel area where you'll for visual inspection, and then also the fill location for your hydraulic rack. As you move just to the right, you'll find a warning here regarding pressure hazard. Caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. Also, passenger side 2.5-inch discharge, along with some additional warning placards here regarding danger. This is the powered equipment rack for your ladders. There are instructions for its operation on the placard. And again, a warning regarding entanglement hazard. Let's move further down on the pump panel where we'll start with the large diameter pump discharge. It's the green label. Moving further to the right, you'll find the American flag, Eagle, and Pierce logo. This is your large diameter pump inlet. Moving to the right, you'll find the cab lift. There are instructions for its operation, in addition with some caution and danger information. Please ensure all items are secured within the cab. As we move to the very bottom, you'll find the passenger side auxiliary inlet, locally controlled via ball valve, female 2.5-inch, and then all of our color-coded and labeled discharge drains, along with hose storage location in the running board. As you move back up to the crosslays, you'll find at the very top section a 2.5-inch crosslay. Moving further up, you'll find the number 1 crosslay. And then moving down to the very bottom, the number 2 crosslay. As we move to the forward section of the cab, you'll find the through compartment here, additional adjustable shelving. As we move inside the cab area, let's start first with the passenger side door panel, where you'll find affixed to the door panel, safety and warning placard information, electronic window control, door lock latch, combination, and a grab handle. Once again, overhead push on and off white or red lens lights and your air conditioning unit. General view into the cab area. Let's go ahead and move back to the exterior to the front axle. Once again, Goodyear tire, Alcoa wheel, visual sight gauge into the center of the axle area. As we move now into the officer space, let's start affixed to the door panel, safety and warning placard information, combination, lock and door latch, electric window control, and a grab handle. Along the A-pillar is where you'll find the fill location for your windshield wiper fluid. Moving overhead, we do have some blanks located here. Within some of those blanks, we do have some red and white warning placards indicating spare wiring behind the panel. The option is located on this, and please do not remove until your maintenance team has had an opportunity to evaluate. Moving just to the left, you'll find the FireCom volume and squelch control. Just underneath that is the FireCom wireless base. Moving now to all compartment doors open on the passenger side, let's take a look at the ladder or equipment rack. At the very top section, you'll find storage location for rigid drafting tubes. You'll find a 24-foot extension, 14-foot roof, and then also an additional A-frame or little giant ladder. Let's go ahead and move now onto the top of the vehicle. We'll identify a few items within this area. On the top of the vehicle, we have hatch compartments. There are 2 forward and 2 rear. Also, as we move toward the cab area, this is where you'll find your night scan. Also, this is considered a non-walking surface, and we do have some warning placards here indicating fall hazard, and there is also no railing in this area. As we move to the dunnage area, let's take a look in this area. You'll find your Harrison generator located in the very top section. Also, you'll find the booster reel located here with a free tension spool, and then also manual rewind at the very top section. Moving toward the center, you'll find your Master Stream device. It is an extend-a-gun along with your Husky foam system reservoir, top fill location for water tank, and also foam tank A. This is the foam tank A with a warning placard indicating foam failure. Do not mix different brands or consistencies. Also, top fill location for your water tank. Let's go ahead and take a look at a few of the hatch compartments here as we move through from front to rear. LED lighting and also dry deck material in each of these hatch compartments. Let's go ahead and move now to a visual of the front roof area, emergency warning light, and then also forward-facing floodlight. Just a few images here. This is your winch location. As we move to the undercarriage area, let's identify a few items within this area. We are now on the driver's side. This is the lift cylinder. As we move now to the engine area, just as a reminder, when lifting the cab, ensure all items are secured within the cab. Once it is fully lifted, maintain equal pressure on both left and right cylinders, store the safety bar, and do not lower the cab onto the safety bar. Front axle is a TAC4 independent front suspension. Identifying a few items within the engine area. First, starting at the very top, this is the recovery location for your radiator, fill location, and also dipsticks for engine oil, and then also transmission. Moving now to the driver's side, to the rear of the front axle, underneath the battery box is where you'll find a positive and negative jumper studs. You'll also find the fill location for your hydraulic cylinders for the lift cylinders of the cab. There'll be no additional audio from this point on. Congratulations, Franklin County, Idaho, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 37772. If you have any questions regarding your vehicle, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.